Alright, good morning, Wasteland. Mr. G bringing you more coffee and Crossout, and today is part 2 of Epic Weapon Review Time. Apologies if my voice sounds like reheated dinner, it's because I'm sick. So, y'all tell me to feel better in the comments, and right now, we're going to talk about weapons. So, we're going to look at only the epic weapons that function on reload. So that means these weapons do not benefit from radiators or coolers in any way. These weapons are going to benefit from engines like the Colossus, which is going to give a 20% reload boost no matter what you're doing, or from the good friend, the Oppressor here, which is going to give you reload based on speed, maximum at up to 30%. So good for fast builds, shotgun builds, or hover builds that are always going to be moving. So don't bother putting any other engine than the Colossus or the Oppressor or something that did, like Hot Red, I guess, if you need the energy. You could put a Cheetah if you wanted, like you need it for the modules or the module boost. But really, if you're going to be doing reload weapons, Colossus and Oppressor are your friends. So we're going to be just going through the list here of these ones, and we're going to start off with our good friend, the Junk Bow. It's not supposed to be a junk bow. We're supposed to be talking about Fafnir. And the Fafnir, if I can fit it on here, you can see I screwed up and didn't do my homework. The Fafnir has a perk, and the faster you go, the more accurate this thing is. It's basically a bigger junk bow, which is why you can see that I didn't even realize that it wasn't a Fafnir until we got to getting around to checking it out. So look at the spread, not moving. Okay, I mean, it's pretty wide. This one goes well with Oppressor because you want to be moving fast with these to get the accuracy to strip weapons off. That's what these are pretty good for, but you got to be really close range. But look at that. If you're moving semi-fast, you can strip weapons with these, and you're going to want to do 1 or 2 passes against your enemy with the Fafnir. Get those weapons stripped off. That's really all there is to it. I mean, it's a big, giant shotgun. On to the next one. Executioner. That's this one. There we go. Oh my god. Sorry, guys. Whew. I'm a little tired. Executioner. This has the unique perk in that it fires armor penetrating rounds. It is a turreted cannon, meaning it has limited firing angle. You will often see people running 3 of these. Because honestly, yeah, you got to have at least 3 of these things to do decent damage. They're pretty accurate. But Fat Man's going to be a lot easier to use than 88s. You'll see people put these on spiders because they turn quickly, or you'll see people run these on a hover sometimes, or you'll see them on a tiny little build like we've got right here. Problem is, if you use 3, you've got no energy left over for modules. And that kind of stinks. You get no cloak, you got no nothing else you can do at all. But not a bad weapon. I've had some fun with executioners in the past, but I always seem like I end up wanting to use another cannon in the long run. But that's just me. Alright, next up, we've got the Fat Man. This guy. The direct hit from this thing increases reload speed for the next shot. And it's one of my first epic weapons I ever bought, way before I had promo account, or you go watch my build on building my first tank. Works really great in an over-under formation like this. It's really easy to aim. They're easy to use, and you'll see they just took direct hit. Just took 2 direct hits. They're a very durable weapon. They really can take a beating, so you can use them as armor. Put them in front of your cab and just have fun. I really enjoy the Fat Man. It's just a great cannon platform. And you can see we've got a Colossus on there just to get this thing more effective with the reload. On to the next one. Quasar. Now, when these first came out for Dawn's Children, you saw these all over the place. Now, their perk is just, there's no projectile drop at all. And also, there's 0 recoil. Look. Nothing. Doesn't even move us an inch. But look how slow those projectiles go. They're not very quick projectiles. Here's the thing with Quasar. I don't love them. But there are people that are extremely good with quasars. You'll run into them in battle, and they're in hover, and they're hitting you from across the map because they're really good at knowing where you're going to be, because you're going to have to lead targets fairly significantly with the quasar. And they will eventually just, you know, run out at super long range. But look, I'm not good. I'm not good with quasar. I'm just not. There we go. I mean, they do solid damage. Problem is, they don't have near the durability of something like the Fat Man or the 88. So if they get hit too much, they're done. They're gonna pop, and you're gonna be like, bye bye quasars. All right, on to the next one. Phoenix. This thing is a crossbow that shoots explosive rounds that stick into your enemy and then blow up. Problem is, in the time it takes one of these to like explode, you can get shot a fair few times before your opponent goes down. So you do have to wait for your damage to get done, which is kind of a bummer. But I mean, it's a unique weapon in that regard. You don't see a lot of these. Yeah, I mean, some people love them, some people don't. I hate that you have to wait almost 3 seconds to do any damage. It's a long time. Okay, next one. Crickets. Oh my god, you guys. You gotta have some crickets. These are rockets, unguided rockets. And they're gonna do more damage the further away you are. The problem is their accuracy tends to dump off. Look, we just wrecked that build. They do really good DPS, these do, you guys. They do. They put out really good damage. They're definitely one of the meta weapons right now in this tier. And paired with the Torero cab to increase their accuracy makes a really good pairing. You can put them on wheels, you can put them on legs, you can put them on hovers. Crickets are just really all around good weapon choice because they just put out a lot of damage. They just do. So highly recommend the old cricket. Next on the list, we got Pyres. Now Pyres are going to be just your lock, fire, and forget weapons. You're going to want them on something fast because you're going to just be shooting. Whoops. You got to make sure you actually get the lock first, Mr. G. You're going to be shooting these and then running off. That's what you're going to be doing. Now, some people have like mounted these vertically or mounted them in reverse so the projectile has to turn farther or can go over hills to hit targets. But that's really up to you how you want to mount that. You can use them as a secondary weapon, like pair them with a cricket or like a long-range cannon. I've seen people do that, where you can just spam as many of them together as possible. I've seen people do a really good job on that. And you can see I'm really bad at getting locks. I just don't wait long enough for my lock to get in there, and that's my own fault. But there are people that are very good with these, and you know, just that know how to get locks and can move in very quick hover builds. This one we just pulled from Exhibition. It just was a little 3 hover booster pyre thing here. Can we fire them from completely in reverse? You can see that the projectiles or the missiles have some serious ability to turn, but it is limited in how far they can actually turn. So having them pointed forward and aimed at your enemy does help. So you do have to have some level of actually aiming at your target when you do use Pyres. Next up, the toe. If you're subscribed to the channel, you know that I don't run the toe a lot. It's just not my thing. But it is a guided missile, so you control it. It stays just above the ground. There are some people that have made builds that, you know, boost way up into the sky, and then they can shoot the toe from super high altitude and control it as it drops down. So you can kind of use that as a gimmick to shoot across the map. Otherwise, it tracks right above the ground. The toe and the pyre and any of those homing missiles like that, they can be shot down, specifically by MG or equalizer or autocannon rounds. Can't take those out if they're coming at you. Not my favorite weapon choice, but I know there are people that really do love those weapons. This guy, the Incinerator. This thing, it makes fire. And when they first came out, they were really bad. And then Gaijin went ahead and buffed them because nobody was using them. And now they put out solid damage. Now, it's similar to the fires like the Mandrake. You've got that weird little firing arc. There are some builds that use meat grinders and legs that just tilt your build way forward, which lets you fire even closer to you. But you can see that they put out really solid damage, and they fire like some sort of napalm kind of action that just sticks to the ground, sticks to what you're shooting at. And really not much more to say other than they're pretty good on legs, so you can turn and get really quickly, and the leg meat grinder combo works too. Alright, you guys, crossbow, the spike. They finally made it craftable. This thing's really fun in that it's really accurate, and it does impulse. And if you're like, what's impulse? Well, you can physically move targets. I've flipped small targets shooting at them with crossbows before. And guys that are really good with crossbows are very, very good. And you almost always see them on a hover build. I mean, not always. They're really good at taking off weapons. But you want to be moving quickly with these. Look at that. We're just about to flip that guy right over. And they stay in the target, which is kind of a fun gimmick. There we go. They're really fun to use. They do have projectile drop at long range. But they are pretty silly accurate. They've nerfed the reload a little bit. But with the Colossus, the reload isn't too terrible. Next up, Prometheus. Got ourselves a little energy weapon there. Within each burst, each shot deals 10% more than the previous one. So you want to make sure that your ending rounds with the Prometheus land on target. And they fire fairly fast. And use the sound cues to help you with energy weapons, just to make sure you keep your fire rate up. You're not going to do much damage past mid-range. I mean, you can do a little bit damage still. Wait for it. Nope. Yeah, we're doing a little damage, but you know, let's see how we do from across the map with these. We hit this guy at all? Yeah, no. So you need to be at mid-range with these guys. You can do close range, but they're going to get stripped off your build pretty quickly if you're letting people shoot at you at close range. But energy weapons are just, you know, they're fun. Why am I putting Prometheus in here? Prometheus doesn't have reload. It's in a league of its own, but didn't really fit with heating or cooling because, you know what, they just don't use heating or cooling, and they don't use reload. So guess what? It saves you energy to do other stuff, which saves you weight, which is not a bad thing. And I know there are a few things, like the Lancelot I haven't covered, or the Capcan, or the Dresba, or, you know, just some of those random bits. I'm going to throw that stuff in with a module episode. We'll talk about owls and drones and fuses and all that. But these were the things that benefit from reloading. And if you're like, wow, Mr. G, you sound really tired today. I am. If I was going to say top picks for epic reload weapons, this is the personal picks here. We'll do it with the Fat Man, because when I first started out, it was an easy one to really start using. But probably the best purple energy weapon right now, I think, is going to be hands down the Cricket. It just puts out so much DPS, guys. And if you learn to get good with them, they just do really well. Incinerators can be really good. Guys that are really good with the spike, I've seen very good players on hover with these, but it's got a high skill curve. You got to get good with those to get consistent damage. And the Prometheus, nothing wrong with it. It's just like the other energy weapons, but it's in this class. Now, there are also guys that just love the 88s or the Executioners. And you know what? They're good. They're good cannons. I do love cannons. I just tend to rather have like a Mammoth or a Tsunami or a Fat Man or something like that. That's it for this one, guys. We gotta go do the jump. You let me know what your favorite epic reload weapon is, or any tips on any of these weapons that maybe I forgot to put in there because I'm just half awake. Let me know that in the comments. And if you're looking for a Crossout friend, take a look at the Discord link in description. I think we're one of the biggest Crossout servers out there. We got like 700 guys on there, so come check it out. And that's it. Hit those like and subscribe buttons because I'm doing Crossout every day, even when I'm sick. Mr. G out.